What do people waste money on that amazes you? Designer clothes for kids' babies when they will grow out of them within a few months. My wife works at a nursery. She has parents who do this and she tells the nursery staff to not let the child ruin their clothes. When I worked for Dish Network, I couldn't understand some customers paying for the adult movies. I'm talking an extra $200+ a month in just porno. Get an old Sears catalog, you savages. What do you mean my balance is still $300? I just mailed in my monthly payment. Mom, your monthly payment is $200 and you're only sending $100 a month. I want an extension. I can't afford food, electricity, or my house payment because of how expensive my bill is. Mom, Disney Channel is not more important than actually feeding, clothing, or providing shelter for your kids. Source: former Dish call center rep. Not keeping track of or not using monthly paid subscriptions. Spotify account that you forgot you had. Gym membership that you used once, etc. It's unbelievable to me that people just aren't aware of something they are being billed for on a regular basis. Funny story. A few years ago my mom's card was being billed by Netflix for 3 different accounts. We all used one account and it was $11.99 at the time to allow for 4 screens at once. One of my younger siblings made another account and another made another account and just forgot the password. I had to go deactivate 2 accounts by calling technical supports. Really nice people, by the way. Just wondering, did they reimburse the amount that you paid for the other accounts? Number. My mom was paying on 2 Netflix accounts for who knows how many years, not to mention, she had a Prime account that she had been paying every year for 4 years and didn't know about, and I had to call in and shut it down. No reimbursement, but it was easy AF. They were pretty swell. Amazon Prime will reimburse you if you haven't actually used the benefits all year. They're super nice about it. They offered it when I cancelled my account. I would never have thought to ask for that. Ending your comment with really nice people, by the way, was quite the wholesome thing to do. I don't know why, but I really like that. Guilty of this. Subscribed to the Creative Suite for a year because I thought I would use it a lot. Turns out I paid $240 just to use Photoshop 3 times. Lesson learned. And if you cancel before the term is up, Adobe will charge you for the rest of the term. I had a big fight with them over this, because I requested a cancellation via telephone during the last month of my term and was told by the rep the subscription would be cancelled. 2 months later I see I'm still being billed. So I called them and told them about it and they claimed no record of cancellation and told me I'd have to pay for 10 months if I cancel. Bullshit. A call to my CC company took care of it. Rent a center, errands, and the like. No, an iPad is not worth $3,600, especially if it gets repoed after you miss a single payment, and also because it'll be fucking obsolete by the time you pay it off. I don't get it either. I could see maybe if you needed something for a special occasion, like renting a big screen TV for a Super Bowl party. While you could use it to actually rent short term, it is mainly used for those who want to do installment payments but cannot get credit. It's like payday loans. A long time ago I needed to rent a computer to take a real estate course. So I called Rent a Center to see if they had one available. The man gave me a list of things they needed. One of those things was a copy of my lease. I figured no big deal. Copy of the house deed would likely do. It went like this. Rent a Center man. You didn't bring your lease. Me. I don't have one. We own the house. So I brought a copy of the deed. RM. Well, we can work around that. You need to bring a statement from your landlord. Me. I don't have a landlord. RM. Well, whoever you rent from. Me. We don't rent from anyone. RM. But you say you live at address. Me. Right. It's our house. It's not a rental. RM. Then you need a statement from the owner of the house saying that you live there. Me. I am the owner. That's why I brought a copy of the deed. RM. Sarcastically. Oh, you own the house. Well, can you prove that? Me. I'm trying to. RM. Well, you need to bring me a copy of your lease. I was heavily pregnant and very hormonal, so I burst into tears. It's fun in our edit. Thanks very much for the gold, I'm touched. That's really hilarious that he had no concept of someone actually owning their own home. Nobody with the financial basis to own a house should be thinking about rent to own. Oh, you own the house. Well, can you prove that? Sure I could. If only you would read this piece of paper I'm shoving in your face that tells you just that. They prey on the poor. You can tell by the neighborhoods they're in. If you have bad credit or don't see how you could ever save up for a $1,500 TV, this seems like the only way to get semi-nice things. Credit card interest. I know a bunch of people who are so shocked by their high interest rates. They thought it was like an interest-free loan to yourself and then are surprised when making teeny payments doesn't do anything. My wife does this. We have a substantial amount in savings, but she'll still toss a $1,700 tuition charge on a card. Not tell me about it. We both maintain our own credit cards, then get upset when I got annoyed about the sudden interest charges affecting the budget. Just pull it out of the savings account and pay the fucking card. But what if we need the money? 1. We have plenty. 2. We have excellent credit. Either of us can go grab a low-rate unsecured loan in a few minutes, which would be cheaper than that fucking card's interest. So I started taking it out of her pocket money account in the budget. That stopped it pretty quickly. My girlfriend and I call that part of our budget our personal fun money. Made me smile. Used to work in a cinema and it amazed me how much stuff people would leave behind once the film was over. I'm talking the vast majority of a large popcorn or large drink. Sometimes a Baskin-Robbins tub would still have most of it in. Melted obviously. There would also be full unopened packs of chocolate, sweets, crisps, sometimes unopened drinks. One of the reasons people preferred working on floor other than concessions was you'd often find stuff to eat when you were cleaning the auditoriums between performances. Having worked there for years, I definitely learned to respect why prices are high, so I have no problem with people paying cinema snack prices. But so many people seem to just buy certain snacks when they clearly don't want them. If you've had about 3 pieces of a large bag of popcorn, you clearly didn't really want popcorn and just like the idea of having popcorn. Same goes for people who turn up with bulging bags full of snacks. You're watching a 2-hour film, not camping in the woods for a weekend. Sometimes I'll go watch a film and not eat or drink anything at all. Or I'll just take in a drink because I like something to sip while I'm watching a film. If I feel like a snack, I'll get something, but if not I won't. I certainly wouldn't pay £8 for a popcorn and drink combo only to barely touch any of it. Wait, you mean there are people who don't finish their snacks before the trailers have ended? It amazes me. I can easily twat a tray of nachos or a bag of Maltesers before the film has even started, yet there are people who can't finish a regular soft drink in 2+ hours. That's because the difference in price for a tiny little bag of popcorn and a huge fucking tub of it is $0.25. The people who spend thousands a month on Facebook or congregate type games. I'm an avid video game player, but yeesh, get some value for your bucks. There was an article done on this Wales. High income earners who spend thousands on mobile and FB games. For a lot of them staying in for the night and dropping 200-300 on Clash of Clans or whatever is cheaper than going out for the evening with their social circle. Strange as hell for sure, but I don't have that money either. I had a sobering moment when I realized I had spent a total of $50 on that Simpsons Facebook game. I vowed never again. Then I found out how to cheat. Then they cracked down on the cheaters. Then I deleted it and haven't played it since. Impatience. Save up for the thing you want first. Then buy it with the credit card. Then make a payment on the credit card with the money you'd already set aside. With just a little patience, you can build your credit history and get the thing you want for zero additional cost. Hell, you can even get paid to build your credit history if you get a rewards card. Impatience and impulse buying. People being bad with money keep the economy going. Buying expensive appliances on credit with a high interest rate. My wife and I went out to buy a washing machine the other day. The price nearly doubled if we wanted to pay over 12 months. Fuck that. We will just save up for a few months and buy it outright. I was going to buy a new PC on credit until I saw the interest total. So I got a credit card with an 18-month interest-free period and paid it off way before that. Paid no interest on it at all. I did the same thing when I bought a new mattress 6 months interest-free. Paid off the whole thing in that time so I didn't have to pay interest. Those are traps as well. If you can pull it off and not miss a payment, good on you. They are banking on people forgetting just once. And the terms of the contract usually state that interest accrues from day one even if you are one day late with your last payment. Oh, I'm sure. I just had it set to auto withdrawal every month for 6 months. It was over a year ago and it worked out great for me. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone who can't build something like that into their budget though. I'm sorry sir, our contract clearly states you are still responsible for interest payments if our auto withdrawal system is down. It abuses the young crowd mostly. I've seen a lot of freshmen and such in college go, I just got this new couch, and I'm only pay $50 a month for it. I am so smart. Yeah, but by the time it's done you've paid $600 for a couch you could have paid $200 for. Edit to add this because some people are missing the point. Yes, couch isn't normally $200. But these rent-to-own businesses do this for furniture, gaming consoles, TVs, computers, etc. They get young adults to think they're saving big bucks when at the end they're paying outrageous amounts in interest to get it now. Occasionally, it can be good to spend a small amount every month since you can't drop a large sum all at once. But if you're that desperate for things that aren't a fridge, which is the only must-have appliance, in my opinion, there is no reason to be going this method. Check your local buy-sell trade groups. You can find furniture that suits your needs in a pinch without falling into scummy business practices. It abuses people too poor to buy a washing machine when their current one breaks. Washing machine is a really bad example of a purchase you should save up for. I bought my kitchen appliances, stove, refrigerator, range mount microwave and dishwasher, on credit, but I used my Home Depot credit card, which offers interest-free financing over various lengths of time. Depending on the purchase price, my purchase qualified for 24 months of interest-free financing, so I took the total purchase price, divided it by 24, and paid that amount to my credit card each month. They'll be paid off next month. and it didn't cost me a penny in interest. That's the best way to handle a big purchase like appliances or TVs, etc. Assuming that you have or can qualify for that store's credit card, of course. And also assuming that you don't put other purchases on the card while you're paying it off. Know your card's benefits. 2. Discover will refund the difference in price on stuff you buy if the price drops within 90 days of purchase. I bought a new TV for $750. 2 months later it was for sale for a week at $590. I got the difference back as a credit. Note: this doesn't work on computer parts. To my knowledge, I guess people abuse that. $1,000 tin can. Tiffany web page. Instantly recognizable. Oh look, a tin can. I should put this in the recycling. I don't like going over to his house anymore. Last week, I picked up a tin can and put in the recycling, and I apparently bankrupted him. That entire everyday objects collection is fucking wild. I just saw a $250 straw made of sterling silver. I feel like everyone is glossing over the fact that this is made of silver. Still a rip-off. But at least it's not a repurposed can of peas. Handcrafted work of art. It's a fucking can that happens to be plated in precious metals. Decorative plates. There is probably $5,000 worth of them at my parents' place. I will never understand. They'll be worth something someday, and I want something to leave to my kids. Every grandparent ever, apparently. They'll be worth something someday. Yeah, about a quarter each at the estate sale after you die, Grandma. I'm really glad no one has said Steam games yet. I might have to change my lifestyle if they did. Edit. Some fun websites for all you Steam users. Steam left web page. Steam calculator, Steam database web page. Well, spending the equivalent average of $30 a month in a year during the summer or winter Steam sale isn't really bank breaking. So there's that. Yeah, I like to imagine most people's gaming expenses are well below some other hobbies. Even at $800, $1,000 a year on games, not necessarily hardware, that's a lot lower than say a handful of snowboarding trips, lodging, food, gear, pass, travel, etc. Of course you still have the crazy people that will drop $7,000 on train skins in Train Simulator, but those types are a minority, I hope. On the same note, Humble Bundles and Humble Monthly. I buy pretty much every bundle the day it comes out. Me. Waste a whole lot of money eating out for work lunch instead of just waking up a bit earlier and preparing something at home. It's stupid, but I'm getting better. I love going out for lunch. I probably spend a couple grand extra a year on that. Beats the hell out of rice and chicken breast or some variant of a bland prep meal every day. At a certain point you should spend money to make your life better. I never understood feeling bad about that unless you are in a bad financial place. It's an acknowledged indulgence. Time you enjoy wasting is not wasted. Well, time is money, so therefore money you enjoy wasting is not wasted. Exactly. I need the hour or so out of the building or I'll lose my mind. My friends that always say we are so broke, we can't do such and such. The wife gets weekly eyelash extensions. They probably don't want to do such and such and don't value it as much as the weekly eyelash extensions. I think it depends on the person. Personally, when I say I can't afford something, I mean that I don't want to waste what money I have on that particular activity. I've known people, though, that legitimately can't control their spending and are constantly in amazement when they can't afford to do simple things. Constantly buying home appliances they only use once, if it even makes its way out of the box. Eating out at restaurants almost nightly. Going on major trips every 1-2 months, etc. Then are stunned when they don't have the money to afford playing pool when their friends want to hang out or buy something they legitimately need like car repairs. Brand name over-the-counter drugs. Advil is the same as ibuprofen. Benadryl is the same as diphenhydramine. Advil PM is just the combination of the two. Save yourself some money and just buy generics. If you're not sure what the generic is, just read the label and find the active ingredient. Expensive designer brand clothes for toddlers. My boss just got his 3-year-old a pair of Nike Air Maximum. The kid's gonna outgrow them in like a month. And he doesn't give a shit about brands. He's 3. Completely agree. I have seen authentic Converse on babies who don't even walk. Kids grow ridiculously fast and they usually don't give a damn what they are wearing. They just want to play. Breaks my heart when I see little girls dressed up like princesses gazing longingly at the other kids playing happily. But of course mommy won't let them ruin their $50 dress. So sad. Okay, but little kids Converse are adorable and they're only like $20, which is like $3 more than a store brand. Kid stuff is never cheap. I bought Converse for my best friend's toddler. I don't even like kids, but damn did he look cute in his fall photo shoot. I am the spinster auntie godmother. It's my duty to buy the stupid, impractical albeit super cute baby stuff. I just bought a teeny tracksuit and shell-toed Adidas for my friend's half-Russian newborn. Weddings. Don't get me wrong. I think having a wedding event is important and sharing that with friends and family is great. But there is so much unnecessary excess that goes into it, and people feel so pressured to Pinterest the shit out of the event that it loses its meaning. It ends up costing so much money that it delays other things like buying a house, traveling, kids, etc. Caterers, florists, DJs etc. will also charge more for weddings than other events. Someone on here said that's because with a wedding, there's more pressure for everything to be perfect, but it still seems like kind of a rip-off. Someone on here said that's because with a wedding, there's more pressure for everything to be perfect, but it still seems like kind of a rip-off. No, it is just because they can, and everyone else does. I mean, why not charge 50% extra if you can? FWIW. The pressure for perfection is real. I worked for a mobile DJ service for a couple years and was being groomed, to take on wedding gigs because they knew I was reliable and could MC as well as I could spin. Ultimately, after apprenticing at a few weddings, I turned that path down and returned to playing some of our contract bars. I still stand by my reasoning, given my age maturity at the time. At a bar gig, if I have an off night, the energy of the room might be a little off, too. But most people won't even notice. At a wedding gig, an off night means I've under-delivered on an evening that some people will remember for the rest of their lives. The first wedding I photographed had the reception on a yacht cruising around Manhattan. During my initial meeting, the groom told me that he wanted a photojournalistic style, and that if I started telling him when and where to pose, he would throw me off the fucking boat. The wedding came around, and I got tons of great candid photos of everyone. But as soon as we were back on dry land, the groom's mother came to me panicked because I hadn't arranged to get formal photos of a ton of people who were already leaving. She yelled at me for several minutes for doing exactly what the bride and groom wanted. For the next wedding, I raised my rate by 60%, and that was still charging too little. No, it is just because they can. No, It's because when I shoot a wedding I have multiple backup cameras, multiple backup lenses, on-site backup drives to backup images to multiple places while shooting. I have insurance specifically for that location. I have to be 100% on point at all times. Otherwise, if I miss a shot I now have to invoke my indemnity insurance to pay to reshoot a wedding or stage the kiss I missed. Which of course they are going to hate, and so my reputation is shot thanks to bad reviews. We charge more for weddings because they are supposed to be a once in a lifetime event and as such are much harder to shoot. Believe me, if I could charge more I would. My lowest package is $2,499 and that includes 8 straight hours of photography, a week's worth of editing and other work, along with months worth of prep and finalizing and finally delivering the final products to the couple. When you break it all down, remove my cost of goods, I am making about $14 an hour if it is just me, but I usually have my partner with me, so we split it, meaning we get about $7 an hour to do this on the lowest tier I have. It really just comes down to an old saying, but fast, cheap, choose two. My dad made the same offer to all 6 of his kids. I'll pay for your wedding or I'll pay the down payment on your first house. I picked the house. Cigarettes. The family members who are constantly broke and asking for money are the same ones who smoke 2 packs a day. I'm not a smoker, but I am a fairly heavy drinker. I discovered that I drink to fill my time. Sure, being drunk is an addictive feeling for me, but I drink mainly because I have nothing better to do. I started reading more, started playing board games, video games, guitar. It has been a couple weeks since I've had an alcoholic drink. I used to drink every day. We all need things to fill our time, and if we can't find anything to do so, at least getting drunk or getting a nicotine buzz is something that makes the boredom more bearable. I quit smoking well over a year ago, and it's crazy how much the extra money adds up. I've probably saved an extra $3,000 without even really trying. I've also noticed that any of my friends' family who chronically complain about money are heavy smokers. I'm going to have to start speaking up and pushing people in the right direction. More money and better health? See Monday. Quitting is really not that difficult. This is my in-laws. Constantly having money issues. Fridge is always stocked with beer and they go through at least a carton and a half of cigarettes a month. And they constantly keep on expanding their pool of pets. You can barely feed your 4 kids. Why the fuck do you keep on collecting more pets? Bars. I mean, once a week 2 weeks is fine. But people that are up there several days a week, running up big tabs every night, F that noise. That used to be me. I love going to bars and hanging out with my friends, but holy fuck is it expensive. I changed my ways significantly after downloading my transaction history for 2014 and realizing how much I spent at bars. It was more than 1/3 of my gross income. It was the same for me and my wife with eating out. We had gone on a pretty good kick of cooking eating at home and then we just started going out more. $30 here, $45 there. By the end of a month it was a lot. Like more than our mortgage. A lot. Now we have a newborn and we're actually saving money overall because we cook and eat at home all the time right now. Even with buying a million diapers. We figured out my brother's average bar bill once it came to $80 $100 for the weekend. That's over $5 a year. He was also single then. And ordered a lot of food. $80 minus $100 isn't even that bad for a full weekend's bar tab, if you're going out Friday and Sat night, plus watching some games on Sunday or something. It's just crazy how fast it adds up. Even adding drinks to your meals at dinner bumps up the total cost like 15-20%. Maybe more if you're drinking wine or liquor. What's another 5-10 bucks? A lot over the course of a month year. Edit. Over, not off. New phones. I mean, I can understand if your phone is busted or outdated, like you've got the iPhone 4 and want to upgrade to the iPhone 7. I just don't get why people get the iPhone 7 and then immediately get the iPhone 8 a year later. And don't get me wrong, I'm not ragging on Apple users specifically, that's only an example. People to do the same thing with any line of popular smartphone. It seems like a total waste of money to me, especially considering the differences between generic smartphone 10 and generic smartphone 11 are pretty minimal. I sorely regret trading in my perfectly functioning Note 4 2 summers ago for the Note 7. After all the recalls were done, I was pissed, and just wanted the 4 back, which was of course not possible. I wound up with this S7 Edge. Now don't get me wrong, I like the S7 Edge, and I'm going to hang on to it for as long as I can. No more expensive latest and greatest upgrades for me. And when this one does have to be replaced, I'll buy the newest used refurbed phone I can find and pay outright for. Wow, this is my brother-in-law and his wife to the T. She also liked to spend hundreds on makeup, nails, hair stuff, and they go to $150 plus concerts once a month. She also buys shit tons of clothes for herself and she spends shit tons on weed for her depression. Meanwhile the 3 kids share one room and only have one bed between them. They live in the ghetto. They have clothes that was gifts from grandparents, which is 4 outfits each, like 2 toys, that the grandparents gave them. And eat ramen or PB&J every meal and she doesn't even have a proper car seat for the youngest. He's 18 months and they have him in a booster that's for a 4-year-old that they found for free. He makes $10 an hour and works 35 hours a week and she makes $8 an hour and works 8 hours a week and they have 3 kids. The government I'm sure gives them food stamps and shit too. I hate them so much. They are so selfish, but at least she got ovarian cancer and can't have kids anymore, thank God. The reason the government gives them food stamps is probably the knowledge that it is the only way those kids will ever possibly get fed. At least you have to buy food with that money. Wine prices in restaurants and bars $12 or more for a glass of Blanc. WTF? The common wine markup in restaurants, at least all the ones I've worked in, is whatever the restaurant pays for a bottle of wine is what they charge for a glass. So that $12 glass of wine is only $12 a bottle. Doesn't Reddit Gold help support the website we all waste our time on? Edit. Appreciate the gold mystery giver. I just don't understand why people would bother to support this thing I can use for free all the time. Eating out is well worth it, Imo. It's an experience. If you've done your research and know what you like, it's delicious. And someone takes care of you the entire time, including my least favorite part of cooking at home, cleaning. I also hear how much cheaper it is to cook at home, but in my experience it's vastly exaggerated. I always make enough to have leftovers and then just end up eating them at dinner. I'm disappointed in Reddit. You're the only one who has said diamonds this time. Slot machines. Like anything, I understand that the value to be had is entertainment. And there are many different ways to pay for entertainment, whether that be going to the movies, or sporting events, or whatever. But to me, it seems like a total waste of money to dump a bunch of dollars in what amounts to a shitty video game. Of course, some might say that dumping money into my various hobbies, that I do for entertainment, is an equal waste. So really I think it comes down to this. Only the person spending the money can truly say if what they are spending it on is a waste or not. Homeopathic medicine. Yeah, that celery salt is really going to help with that cancer. Vitamin B17 though. JK. It's terrible how quacks exploit the fears of people living with cancer but offer zero evidence their treatment is viable. As a former smoker, cigarettes, they were expensive when I smoked, and when I asked my brother, who still smokes, he said he was paying almost $10 a pack. Holy smokes. Webcam girls. You know there's an infinite amount of porn out there. For free, right? I still watch, but I've never given them money, but it amazes me how much money guys shell down for these girls who literally at times do nothing. I know some go farther than others, but I've literally seen webcam shows where girls just talk fully clothed and guys still give them money. When I was doing it, most of them were just lonely and sad. They want you to talk to them and make it personal. Almost all of them told me their names and what they liked and wanted to talk about their shitty jobs. You got the occasional weirdo, but my regulars were just lonely men. Edit. Also, there's a lot of money to be made in camming. I was pulling $600 $900 a month doing it a few hours a day. Edit 2. I was 19 and in college, so yeah, $600 $900 for 6-10 hours a week of sitting on my bed, eating Cheetos while wearing a bra, and talking to some sad middle-aged man was pretty sweet. Jeans with fake mud stains. Nordstrom webpage. Apparently costed $425. WTF? Someone who would pay that much to have fake mud stains would never dare be caught somewhere they could get the stains themselves. College, when you don't know what you wanna do at all. Whoa, IDK, what I wanna do. Might as well get some debt. Whoa. When I was in school, teachers would roll their eyes at you and crack a McDonald's fried joke if you weren't dead set on university. America seems to shun finding yourself if you haven't already found yourself. If you don't go to school, you're a deadbeat. And if you go and have no idea why, at least you're working towards a future. A lot of high school teachers and counselors tell students to just get that piece of paper because most of them are old and don't know how the real world works anymore. I think it's because a lot of them never really enter the real world in a way, especially where I am from. Most go straight from primary school to secondary school to post-secondary school and then back to one of the listed places. So just getting that piece of paper was really all they needed to do. Where I am from, they have an excellent union who make sure they have a good standard of living. They aren't like some of the teachers I hear about in the States. To a certain extent it still holds true. A lot of places won't even look at your resume unless you have a degree, though making sure you're a good fit for the company is important. I had lots of people in my life tell me just get that paper. I went to college despite not having the slightest clue what I wanted to do, had panic attacks and severe depression with suicidal thoughts, and eventually dropped out because I never figured out what I wanted to do and ended up $16K in debt after just 2 years. My dad was cool about it, but my mom thinks I'm a failure, and my stepdad completely shunned me and won't speak to me or even be anywhere in the same room with me. Oh well. I'm down to $8K and my mental health is much better now, but it was still a huge waste of money and time when you couldn't decide on a major. FIFA. Same game every year. Admittedly, I nearly fell into this trap with Football Manager, but at the last moment realized how hypocritical it was of me, so I looked at the changes and new features. Instead of paying £25 to get the new game, I've decided to just get a team update through the Steam Workshop. Edit. Spelling. I feel the same way about Madden. Then again, I do this when it comes to civilization. Our receptionist stops every morning at Dunkin' Donuts to buy a toasted bagel. She doesn't make very much money. Why doesn't she just buy a sleeve of bagels from the grocery store and toast them at home? I may be jumping to conclusions, but I think this is one of the things that people with a decent financial situation, lots of friends and a healthy social life can never fully comprehend. There are times in a lonely, challenging, difficult life where entering a store on your way to work, saying hi to Betty or Tom, who then hands you a treasured luxury, is a way to keep a semblance of control and a certain dignity that may seem to you like $2 but to the person doing it, worth $1 million. Could also be your receptionist wants it warm and fresh baked. Pretty much this. I'm homeless and living in my car, and I'm sure people would think me spending $2 on a hot coffee every day is bullshit. I can fill up a bottle with free water at the library and nearby college. But I can feel like a human being on their way to a normal life when I go get that coffee. For a long time I had a job I despised, and every morning I'd get up, contemplate suicide, decide I was too worthless to even do that, take a shower, and head off toward work. In between my first and second bus, I'd grab a bagel sandwich. That's a bagel, toasted, cut in half with egg, bacon and cheddar cheese on it. One day the bagel store was closed. I was like, nope, I just can't even, and I got on a different bus and just went home. That fucking bagel sandwich was my reason for getting out of bed, and without it I couldn't even go to my job I hated. That sounds really pathetic typing it out, but such was my life. Honestly, if you don't have a lot of money, a small luxury like that might be the thing keeping you sane. You can't splurge on a lot of things, but you can buy yourself a nice warm bagel. Yet this is what I do. I buy myself a treat for after work, and it makes me a much happier person. Porn, seriously, WTF if you can't get off with the free stuff. I'll pray for you. Eating out for lunch for most of the work week. A modest bought lunch is made at $10, but usually more like $15 plus once you add on a drink and whatever else. I can literally make an entire week's worth of lunches for 2 people with that. I calculated that the hearty vegetable barley soup I made comes out to maybe $1.50 a lunch when I make a giant pot of it and we eat it every day. It's a little hard to calculate because I don't use the whole bag of celery, only a few stalks, etc, etc, but it's way cheaper than buying lunch. And then my co-workers complain they are broke. I get a feeling of shame when poor planning leads to me needing to buy a lunch. Edit. Man. I triggered so many people. I get it. You have justification. Buy your lunch every day. Jeez. Edit 2. Here. Vegetable barley soup below little home web page. Is the recipe. Edit 3. Here is a bangin' turkey meatloaf that is heavenly. Easy paleo meatloaf recipe with veggies, paleo newbie web page. One of the perks of living in Asia, eating out can be just as cheap as eating from home. Edit. Forgot to mention $1 beer at 7/11, and you can drink anywhere. A modest bought lunch is made at $10 but usually more like $15 plus once you add on a drink and whatever else. Holy hell, that is a lot of money for lunch. Do you work in a big city? I can absolutely see it costing that much working downtown Chicago or something. When I buy lunch, which is rarely because I like saving money, I give myself a $4 budget. I live in Canada. I would be surprised if I could buy a lunch that's not fast food for below that price. A supposedly rich New England state, in a modest suburban area about a half-hour away from the capital. Small town, but we have restaurants and some nightlife. I recognize my state is one of the most expensive, and that's why it shocks me that people are okay paying that much. A good salad is $8. Add a drink. Delivery. Boom, $15 plus. I actually worked with a guy who had just moved from Seattle. He came up to me once and said, "OMG, I just paid $100 for a week's worth of groceries," and I apparently shocked him by saying, "Wow, that's a good deal." Work in downtown Chicago. Unless it's fast food, you're talking $10 on the low end for a grab and go lunch. $15 is pretty standard. $20 plus is easy to do if you want something a little fancy. I just skip lunch and work. Not only eating out but also so many people will use delivery or go to a restaurant, both of which add additional cost. I have co-workers living paycheck to paycheck, but regularly get delivery, which is an extra $3 minus $4. Really, Janice? Is that $18.57 salad worth it? And when you point it out to them, they agree with you half-heartedly, then owed a lunch. Microtransactions in full-priced games. I understand in F2P and DLC content, microtransactions can go and get fucked, and so are people who support it. Thanks for fucking up future games for us. CS skins have always blown my mind. Hundreds of dollars spent on either buying or hoping to open skins on a gun in a video game. Not better weapons, or upgrades, but skins. Knew a guy who blew his entire financial aid check on League of Legends skins. He was proud to tell the class about it. As a smoker, cigarettes, like, why am I spending hundreds a year to potentially kill myself? WTF me. Tattoos. I know people who can't afford to buy their kids winter coats, but get a new tattoo every couple months. WTF. Someone I know just got into a Facebook fight with someone about how they can't afford to fix all their pets, so their cats keep inbreeding and having kittens. Yet, they somehow find the money to get a new tattoo every 3 months. And not a small one either. They seem to be about the size of mason jar lid. Absolutely ridiculous. As a cat person, and someone who volunteers with feral cat outreach, I honestly hate people who don't fix their cats. Let them run around outside and get impregnated. Then let the kittens do the same. To know that these people are wasting money on tattoos would push me over the edge. My ex-wife spent a large chunk of the payout she got from my 401k on tattoos. I'm pretty sure she uses child support on occasion to get them as well. Cable. The internet has everything. Edit. Except sports apparently. I apologize for my oversight as I do not watch sports. Edit 2. Okay, so there are sports online and I was correct the first time. I work for a telecommunications company and it's super stupid to have cable. We literally only provide cable because people want cable. We don't even profit on it and it's $60 plus a month for the main bulk of channels. Doesn't even get you the good sports networks, HBO, Stars, etc. People out here paying $100 plus just for cable services when a $20 on Netflix and Hulu or however much Sling TV costs gets you that much and more. Once the NFL and other big sports networks finally realize the internet is better than cable, there'll be nothing left at all for cable. But it's Ulaloax looking for a decent stream of sports. I buy NHL TV every year cause there's no fucking way I'm watching non-HD hockey. It's just terrible, you can never see where the puck is. Yes, I know of the Reddit streams. They don't have everything I want. I like the randomness of TV. Switching channels and finding something good to watch. what episode or season the show is. I don't really rewatch series and movies unless I see it showing on TV. Edit. And not to mention that you can't stream shit if your internet is shit. Like what we have in our country. People complain about things other people waste their money on while they justify their own wasting money on things. Some Magic the Gathering cards. Don't get me wrong. I play the game too, but unless you play in tournaments and compete to be the best, I feel like bragging that you have a $964 deck is just screaming addiction and poor money management. I mean, what if Magic is their only hobby? If that's what gives them pleasure, I say go for it. Now, obviously you can be spending beyond your means, at which point, I'd say that's bad, but that's not necessarily the case. Disposable lighters. Let me explain. I am a non-smoker, more or less always have been. But in college, several of my best friends and roommates were smokers. Now, it could be easy to say that the cigarettes are a waste of money, and that's basically true in my opinion. But I know it's an addiction, and as the child of two smokers, I have seen how difficult smoking is, so I won't go there. But, the thing I noticed in college is how many times my friends and roommates didn't have a light, and yet seemingly I would always find lighters left all around our rented apartment or house. So I decided to do a bit of a social experiment. One year, about mid-year, I decided I'd start picking up all the lighters left about the house and just put them in my sock drawer. I wasn't searching them out. I wasn't taking them if they were with somebody's stuff or even if it was with a pack of cigs. But if you left one on the coffee table for more than like an hour or two, it was going into my stash. And I had made the conscious decision that if anyone ever asked is someone stealing my lighters, I'd fess up immediately and the experiment would be over. So for about 4 or 5 months, this continued. And it astonished me that my smoking friends never batted an eye or had a second thought to the idea that their lighter was gone. They simply go borrow a lighter, use a stove or matches, or pick up another lighter while at the store, just throwing that money away. So at Christmas that year, we as roommates decorated a bit and put up stockings for each of us. And I split the roughly 70-80 lighters I had accumulated into my 3 roommates' stockings. They were beyond excited at this gift, and even when I tried to explain it wasn't really a gift because I had only picked up their lighters, they didn't seem to care. I came to realize that part of the cigarette addiction really was just making peace with the concept that you have to buy lighters a bunch also. What a waste. Eyelashes. For your car headlights. Man. There are people sleeping on the streets tonight. Cable satellite TV. Pay more than $100 more to watch 3 shows a week. You have 150 channels and nothing's on. Shoes. As a girl, it's a common stereotype that is taken lightly that we spend so much money on shoes. But I never understood it. I have 3 pairs I wear on a daily basis. Gym shoes, flats and boots. However, I know guys that literally have 100 pairs of Jordans and girls with 50 pairs. Some of the same shoe but a different color. And yes, I understand the desire to match outfits and such. Shoes are costly, however, I was mad I had to drop $50 on my gym shoes. Yet, it amazes me people will gladly drop $100s to $1,000s on pairs of shoes. Some just to say they have them. Good shoes can make a difference. I have about 4 pairs I wear regularly and I've built up my collection over several years. They all cost quite a bit, but they are insanely comfortable, supportive enough to ease my knee and foot pain, and they will last a long time with inexpensive repairs done once in a while. bottled water, 95% of it is literally water from your tap that they sell back to you at a 100,000,000,000,000,000,000,000% markup. Try living in Houston. TX. Our water has fucking white floaters in it. Oh, and it's failed EPA test after EPA test for having too much nuclear materials in it. 10 US cities with the worst drinking water. Business. Going Green NBC News webpage. I will gladly pay for non-floating on nuclear water. Our water is disgusting. Redirect notice webpage. Branded clothes. I really don't see the point in buying something that is X brand just because it has a logo on or whatever. Edit. I understand if people buy for the quality of the item. What I don't understand is people that buy branded clothes just for the name. Depends on the brand though. For work, Red Wing boots are the only way to go in my opinion. Yeah, they cost about $250 for the pair, but they last and are comfortable. Under Armour is another one I won't cheap out on. They're cold gear. I work outside year round if you haven't guessed yet. Does a great job in the winter with keeping warm. McMansions. Okay, so you drop $500 on an obscenely large house that costs a fortune to heat, and now you need to waste gas driving an hour to work, half an hour to the store, and your kids can't even walk or bike to school. It's gross. $500K in some places gets you just enough that you can get to your job in under an hour. Not everyone wants to raise a family of 5 in a 1-bedroom apartment in downtown wherever. Funny. $500K where I live will just get you a modest 4-bedroom track home. A McMansion will cost you at least $1 mil.